ton of fun stuff you sent me pictures about.
Well, that's
And
because
then I got
it was
back
the end
and
of the world.
We didn't do anything.
Yeah, I was going to say, we were all worried that everything was ending.
Oh, by the way, speaking to the Filipinos about the Mayan calendar was one of the funniest things ever. Because they're like, so why do people over there think the world's ending again? They think they're looking at a calendar.
Oh,
that
yeah.
says it, so.
I didn't even think about it. Mayan calendar is just a North and South American thing.
Oh, it was really funny.
People took it so seriously here.
I remember. Do you know what we had? I was 15, and we had a region dance that night. And we called it the Dance Into Forever night.
Dance Into Forever.
Yep.
I have no idea what
Or
I was
the
doing that night.
Or
More
the
than
Last
likely,
Chance Dance.
I was sitting at home watching True TV.
That was it. Just watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was called the Last Chance Dance.
The Last Chance
The
Dance.
Last Chance
I just
Dance.
remember that there were people that like sold everything they had and bought RVs and went and camped out on like the top of like
Yep.
the desert and stuff waiting for the end of the world. And then like it was some of the most heartbreaking like interviews ever when they went and interviewed him afterwards. And the guys were like, didn't happen. I just ruined my life for nothing.
Yeah, it was December 22nd, 2012.
It's because they watched that 2012 movie and they thought that was going to happen.
It was...
And again, I thought it was really funny to explain to people that were not.
I was in high school, and high school we had like events. We had an assembly for it.
You had an assembly for it?
Yeah, just for fun.
I just remember the few months before.
Hey
I
everyone,
left
you're
on
gonna
my-
die this weekend,
I
so
say.
we'll see. We won't see you next week.
I just remember they had tons and tons of shows about it right before I left on my mission.
There was a lot of end of the world stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure that's when World War Z came out around that time too. The movie, not the book. The book
There was also one with Nicolas Cage that ended up being like quasi-religious.
Yes, The Day After Tomorrow or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, where like the kids at the spoiler alert, the kids at the end are made into Adam and Eve into a new planet.
Oh, I've not heard that one.
Oh yeah.
The one
hold
that
on.
I'm thinking of is when it's a day after the rapture.
Oh, that's the Left Behind.
Left Behind, yeah, that one.
No, this is
I missed out.
Left Behind, there's some good.
it's called Knowing. Yeah.
Knowing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Hey, should we get started?
Let's do it.
Sure.
Welcome, everyone, to the Twaddling Along podcast. I am your host, Dan McBride, here with my brothers and co-host, one Joshua
Hi, I am Joshua.
and Jacob.
I twill
I
have a good time with this podcast.
love it.
Good thing, because I'm not.
You won't.
I won't have it.
You won't have it.
We've got to. We're making this catch on. We got to get rid of 6, 7, and
Twill and you twon't.
twill and twon't, people.
That means I'm going to twoop my pants.
And what we need to have it mean is it's twofold. So you have to have the twillwood and the twon't. So it's two, and therefore it doubles. And that will be this secret meeting.
My head hurts,
Twill? Your twet hurts?
and I won't get better. Hey, we're on the human condition this week, aren't we?
Sure hope so.
Because if not, then something's gone horribly wrong.
That's what Josh wanted.
Oh, Josh, and
He's
you
so
get a
excited.
No. Wait, pause.
He's excited.
For all of you guys out there, if you
And
notice...
girls.
and girls, sorry.
sexist.
Guys and girls, whatever. All you people...
No, not whatever. We love them.
All you people of the world. Anyway,
Ich bin Berliner.
you didn't say it right. Berliner.
Berliner.
Dare down the wall. Oh, wait, no, that's Reagan.
Just 2 decades off. It's fine.
I like football. No, that's
Anyway.
Ford.
I am not a crook.
I did not. Anyway, continue, Joshua.
Can you hear me? Oh, sorry. That was a hard day. Anyway, we're going to talk...
We don't want to get too far or we're going to get in trouble.
I know. So if you notice, everyone, that we have 3 genres. History,
Yes.
spooky,
Paranormal.
and
Spooky.
and this human condition.
Yes.
If you notice, if it's the 3 of us, I'm history, Danny's paranormal,
Danny, you're paranormal.
Jake's the human condition. I hate this topic.
I am the human condition.
You are some kind of human condition, that's for sure.
And do you know why I hate this topic?
Why?
Because I've had a few concussions in my life.
Have you really?
I have. I've had to.
Have they been diagnosed?
No, not diagnosed, but let's be honest. I have
self-diagnosed.
I have a bump on the back of my head.
Josh is a hypochondriac.
But because of that, I've lost brain cells, and so I can't think that hard.
But you can do history.
But I can do history, just not
which
critical
doesn't
thinking.
require any brain power whatsoever.
I don't have good emotional intelligence,
Oh,
which is the human condition.
is that what it is? The human condition is marked by emotional intelligence.
No, do you know what we're going to talk about? What is the human condition? That's right. We're talking about a freaking pyramid. We're going back to the beginning days of...
the 1950s.
That's when it came out.
No, I'm talking about pyramids. What the heck is
Oh,
You're making it into history.
Oh, I see.
apologize.
Egyptian pyramids. We've already talked about them, but we're going to talk about them again. Did you know that the pyramid is actually one of the most solid structures?
I think we talked about this.
probably.
Well, good.
The end. Thanks
Everyone,
for joining us,
joining
everyone,
us.
on the
Last words, Danny. Just kidding. No, we are going to talk about something that I learned in history class.
Did
Believe
you
it
really?
or not, I did. Shout out to my favorite teacher in high school. Sorry to rest my teachers that are listening, but my favorite teacher in high school, Lorna Murray. She was my history teacher for all 3 years of my high school experience.
She was also my history teacher.
And she was amazing.
She was not my history teacher. Sorry.
Not to brag, but because I was so good in her class, I saved Josh a few times.
Oh,
Yep. Bumped my grade.
she bumped her head.
That's the first concussion. Anyway, so she would start off every history class talking about this specific topic, which is Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Oh.
Because it all relates to history and can describe patterns in history.
That is actually, yeah.
You are ruining this for me. Stop it.
Well, you don't want to talk about
Jake's
history?
Done.
If you go back to caveman times. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. So let's talk about Sir Abraham Maslow. Jake?
You want me to talk about Abraham Maslow?
Yeah,
Jake, if
because
you wouldn't mind,
let's be honest, I just erased all of the information I had about him.
Control Z, Joshua. Control Z.
No, like permanently. I'm just kidding. Abraham Maslow, though. Jake, if you have more information than he just wrote a book of Theory of Human Motivation, 1943, that'd be great.
That's all you have on him?
Well, yeah,
Joshua.
I'm not talking about him.
Here, I'll talk about him.
I'm talking about the pyramid.
Because I find him very fascinating. He's probably the thing that I was most interested in. So...
Not the condition itself. You're the human.
It's the person.
He was born in Brooklyn in 1908.
I was about to try to do a Brooklyn accent, but
Yeah, don't try
I
that.
feel like I'd offend
Well,
everybody.
and the reason why this is so important, and the reason why I think it's important that we actually talk about Abraham, is because the humanistic psychology that he practiced was really, really influenced by his childhood. He was born of Jewish parents who were ostracized and kicked out of the Russian state. So if anybody has ever seen Fiddler on the Roof, literally his parents were the people in Fiddler on the Roof.
And this would be pre-World War II, so this was...
is pre-World War One.
Yeah, this
This
is
is
early.
really early. This is during the Tsarist persecution.
Yeah.
So a lot of people actually believe that part of the Tsarist persecution is what led to the downfall of the Tsarist region, communism, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
We're not going to get into that right now because that's super deep.
That'll be next
But anyways,
week's podcast.
Maslow, because of this, he was very, very keenly aware of what want was.
Mm-hmm.
Like he grew up in a hard part of Brooklyn. He was ostracized from the community and kind of had to build this little insulary community in the Jewish community. However, he also was ostracized from his family. I didn't know this until I started reading about it, but like he and his mother did not get along very well.
And why is that?
I don't know if it ever is stated.
Oh.
I don't know. Jake, do you know?
I never.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it ever talks about it, but like because of this, his group that he kind of built up, they were super keenly aware of racism, ethnic prejudice. They were trying to be idealists, but they were growing up in an incredibly difficult time, because of when he was born. He was 10 years old, right in the middle of World War I. There was prejudice all around. There's just a whole lot of things that were happening. And so when Maslow finally went to college, he actually wanted to be a lawyer because he wanted to kind of overcome and be kind of this advocate for the people in his community. But he hated it. He hated law school, dropped out almost immediately, and then eventually graduated from the University of Wisconsin in psychology. And he had a really cool, I can't remember who his doctrinal guy was, but someone who was really, really important in the humanist psychology. I think it was Harry Harlow. I can't remember. But anyways, whoever his doctorate overseer was, really kind of influenced him and kind of pushed him into more of like the academic career. And, Maslow kind of dipped his toe into every part of psychology, from behaviorism to psychoanalysis, human sexuality, primate dominance. He was a positivist. He kind of went through it. And so by the time he actually started doing research at Columbia University, he was really, really well versed in like kind of all aspects of different psychology. And that's kind of where, 1937 is when he started doing like his heavy academic research right in the midst of World War II. He's a Jewish professor. There's widespread anti-Semitism absolutely everywhere. And he kind of was just primed to be a voice of what would eventually become this humanist psychology. Now, don't tell me to define humanist psychology because I don't know. That's Jake's department.
The humanistic psychology, the whole purpose of it was literally to restore the human element to psychology itself. Because a lot of up to that point, it was one of those that you had psychoanalysis, was just focused on the unconscious and the conflicts that you encounter with that, fixing broken things that you encountered from the past. And then you also had behaviorism, which focused on pretty much just saying, oh, we're just going to condition you to behave this way in this situation. Where for Maslow is one of those, it's like there has to be a more positive way to be able to perform psychology. And so that's why he actually worked with Clark Moustakis, I want to say his name was. And they actually were the ones that kind of created a professionals association that was kind of dedicated more to the positive side of psychology. And that's ultimately what led to humanistic, which for me, when I was studying psychology, absolutely loved. This was the one that, like, the humanistic side of psychology is something that just really stuck out. This kind of led to Carl Rogers, who for me, that was my guy. Like, that was kind of he created what's called client-centered therapy, which is very much you focus on the client and helping their needs and taking them as they are and helping them improve.
Yeah, I think at least when it comes to Maslow, I think he was the first person that really started talking about self-actualization. Yeah. Right?
Which is a step in this pyramid that we'll talk about later on.
Speaking of which, Josh, you should continue with that.
Yeah. So Maslow, and like I said, a paper titled "A Theory of Human Motivation" in 1943 is kind of where he expressed these ideas that in the beginning, and he changes his view a little bit later on, but there's almost a base that you need and another step to achieve what is called this self-actualization. And so we're going to go over it. It's called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And there's 5, but later 6 steps.
Oh, really?
Yep. So let's start with the first one. So the basic needs for life. So I can't even say this. The physiological needs. Oh, that
Good
was
job,
so good.
Joshua. That was
Well
good.
done,
Perfect.
Joshua.
So the fundamental biological requirements for survival. This is like air, water, food, sleep, shelter, and Maslow includes reproduction into this. And we'll talk about kind of the controversial section
A
on
little
that
bit later,
later.
I was going to say, because
Yeah.
I know that was a big thing.
But yeah, it's just the basic needs for someone to be able to survive. That is the basis of the pyramid. You have to have those needs met before you can move up in the world, basically.
Which is really interesting, because one of the things that I know that Maslow's hierarchy of needs shows is that, in war-torn areas, for example, where those needs are not met, any of the above needs can't be met then. If
Yeah.
you're not actually meeting like the bare minimum of each one of the steps, you can't actually move on psychologically, right? Isn't that how it works?
Yeah, in the beginning. And like I said, it changes a little bit later on with more research and things. But yeah, that's exactly what he started with, is you have to have these needs to be able to continue to achieve your greater self kind of thing.
To remain in homeostasis.
Homeostasis. What the heck is homeostasis?
Homeostasis is the state of steady internal physical and chemical conditionings maintaining the living system. Pretty much it's just letting you live.
So,
Things are balanced.
do we have any problems with the base one?
No, I don't think so.
Nope. Okay, moving on. Good.
I mean, air, water, food, heat, clothes, reproduction, and shelter.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't really argue against any one of those. Like, oh yeah, my basic physiological needs. Well, I don't need air.
Yeah.
I just
can't-
want air.
And that's the thing is, the only one that we'll talk about later is the reproduction, because it could be moved into another category and people criticize them. But like I said, we'll worry about that later. Right now, we'll just talk about the meat. So the second layer is defined as safety needs. So security and predictability in one's environment. So this includes personal security, no violence, crime, or war in the area and or culture in which you live. Health and well-being. So this includes like having access to, multiple food groups or things that make you happy, sugars and all that stuff. A stable environment, something that doesn't change often. Financial security is a part of this, so being able to afford just the basic needs of life. And also safety nets, so if something does go wrong, something is there to catch you, if that makes sense. And so I found that really interesting that this wasn't higher, in my opinion. But I'm not a psychologist, so get over it.
So get over it.
Yep.
It's really, it is kind of fascinating what they say is the absence of physical safety.
Mm-hmm.
So war, natural disaster, I get. Family violence, childhood abuse, I get. Absence of economic safety in any realm. So even like an economic crisis. And what they're talking about, at least in the thing that I was reading, is it doesn't even necessarily have to impact you on an individual level.
Yeah, it could be.
It could just be the idea that something out there is happening. So like watching the news and hearing that there's economic trouble in your general area can actually kick you out of this area. Is that?
Yeah, because the whole point of this is that it is hitting upon the idea that there is freedom from fear. So if there is any type of environmental, personal thing that is causing you fear, Maslow's trying to kind of say, oh, you can't proceed, because that also immediately interferes with your emotional security, which is also was a major part of this second category.
Mm-hmm.
I know that one of the big criticisms of the actual hierarchy of needs is that it should be seen more as an overarching kind of generalization instead of like specific to people, because they say that like children have a higher need for safety where adults might not have to have that, right? Like it's almost like this has to be tailor met to each individual person. And so what might be for me important, like emotional security, might not be as important to someone else.
Yep, exactly.
Interesting.
Yep, and like I said, well, it's interesting because they changed it to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and he's created it's now more like a graph instead of a pyramid, which I think really helps me understand kind of that concept of like it's on a individual basis that can ebb and flow at different parts of life. Anyway, so there's safety needs. Let's go on to the third, which is love and belonging. So all of our introverts out there, including myself, suck it up, Buttercup. Maslow said that social connection and acceptance is valuable, and every person needs it in their life of some sort.
Good for Haslow.
I know. Yeah. He includes... Jake's looking at me.
You said Haslow earlier.
Not Maslow.
Oh,
So,
well, same guy.
but
Hasbro.
You would have.
The Hasbro
You would have just kept
pyramid of
going too.
needs.
Yep.
So that took all the fun out of me.
So-
G.I. Joe at the bottom.
Yep.
And the I'm not going to go there. Monopoly.
No. Yeah, you have the GI Joes,
Yep.
and then you have to have He-Man
Yep. Transformers
and Transformers are there
definitely have to be there.
Yep.
Twister is Hasbro. That's probably
Isn't Ouija board also Hasbro?
yeah. Speaking of that, so I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent. So I've been watching some old television programming on YouTube
Dun, dun, dun,
because
dun.
I'm sentimental
and nostalgic.
and terribly nostalgic. And I was watching a 1989 Thanksgiving Day Parade broadcast.
1989.
1989.
So you were 2.
So I was 2 years old. And it was really interesting seeing everything that was going on. But some of the commercials came on, and one of the commercials was about the Ouija board. And they were playing like it was just the funnest thing in the whole world. It was like, oh, yeah, we're going to ask it so many questions, and how much fun is that? And I thought, this is a good a example of how our culture has changed on this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was just like, it was just a normal game. And now we're like, it's the devil.
Devil's gonna get you.
You know that thing that you're talking to, devil?
Satan! Yep.
Where does that fit on the Hasbro pyramid of needs?
Good question. Ask Jake.
Also, Play-Doh.
Ooh, Play-Doh's definitely top tier.
Danny was watching those in order to fulfill a emotional security need.
Oh, so the second tier there, Dan.
I wasn't feeling very
But
emotionally
that also
secure.
provides some memory that belongs to level 3, Danny.
Love and belonging. I belong to a group called the Elder Millennials.
Oh,
No, you're like middle millennial.
No, sir. Elder Millennial over her.
Well, I was kicked out of millennials, so I hate you all.
so my question is the elder millennials just the first decade?
Elder Millennials go up to 19... Oh, I apologize. I'm not an Elder Millennial.
I told you.
I've been kicked out. It goes from 1980 to 1986.
Yeah, told you.
So what's the different degrees to millennial?
I don't know.
It doesn't tell you.
Elder, middle, and young guys.
This is
By the
a
way,
whole
Danny,
different...
You keep kicking my headset.
Sorry. This is all based off of a whole different science called generationology.
Ooh.
Did you guys know that even exists?
Well,
Doesn't
whoever
surprise
studies
me.
it, I hate because they kicked me out of the millennials.
Well, you might be back in. I don't know.
Whatever.
You don't want to be Gen Z?
No.
There
If
go.
you are Gen Z, you are barely Gen Z.
Let's be honest. I was raised in a millennial household.
So 1981 to 1980. Oh no, you are definitely you're a Gen Z. You're a Zoomer. Sorry,
Don't call me a Zoomer.
you're a Zoomer.
That's gross.
Jake is solidly in millennials. I am as well.
That's like me saying, "Hey, it's your boy Josh."
You could.
It's your boy Josh.
I'm like, that means I'm an elder Gen Zer.
You are the eldest of the Gen Zs.
That's right. There's only a month more Gen Zers than me.
Yep. You are as eldest as they come. You are the elder statesman.
Get on my level. Anyway,
No, back to
So,
Maslow's. I'm
back
sorry, that was
to
a big tangent.
the third tier here, love and belonging. We all need love and we all need belonging and we all need to feel a part of something. So this includes family, friendship, community, romantic relationships, ooh la la, group membership, affection, and intimacy. Now, like I said earlier, intimacy and reproduction are two different things. But some people believed it was the same thing, and so they got upset about it.
I do enjoy some good intimacy that reproduces.
Censored.
For any of those who are like 11 and younger, ask your parents.
Oh, great.
Why are we having you listen to the podcast? Just kidding. I love you.
Ours is it's kids podcast.
It is.
Is it a kids podcast?
Well, it's not a adult podcast.
Yeah.
We're a general podcast.
We're general.
Just like the Gen Zers.
Oh.
Many people become susceptible to loneliness, social anxiety, and clinical depressions in the absence of this love or belonging element. This need is especially strong in childhood, and it can override the need for safety as witnessed in children who cling to abusive parents.
It's true.
So in other words, you can ignore a whole section of the pyramid in hopes that one of the other pyramids will stick with you.
Yeah, the Giza one.
Now, this was interesting because up to this point with psychology, the idea that you needed to, as a group, survive, not that big of a deal. In fact, a lot of times in the past, they focused more on the solitary survival. So this was kind of a newer concept where it was like, hey, no, we need that intimacy. We need that interpersonal relationship with others in order to be able to proceed to our goals and other things like that. Instead of the Freudian couches where it's like, no, it's just you.
Well, what's weird and interesting about that is why didn't they realize that the belongingness was so important? Was it just because it kind of naturally happened? Because nowadays, this is what we talk about like almost more than anything else, this idea that we need to belong to a bigger group. I mean, you watch the news or you read reports about like kids are failing to make friends. Their social circle is shrinking. Their social circle doesn't even exist. And that's causing all this like anxiety and everything that's happening. Was it just not like something that people even thought back then? Because we just kind of naturally fell into groups, be it religious, social, or otherwise?
It's those people that I always laugh at. They're like, oh, I'm perfectly fine being by myself. And it's like, when you look at your life,
you're hardly ever alone.
You're not as by yourself as you think you are.
Yeah.
So, and especially like some of the more, I don't know what you would call them, the outdoorsy guys.
I could survive on my own.
Yeah, I like going out by myself and doing stuff. It's like, yeah, but it seems like you're still very actively involved with others while you're doing it, even though you think you're by yourself.
Sure.
I just look at it as, I mean, if you had asked Grandpa, back in his day, if he was perfectly fine just dealing with things by himself, he probably would have said, "Oh yeah, 100%."
Oh yeah, self-made man.
I think it was a cultural thing because there was no recognition. Because the more you rely on others, the weaker you seem for them. That was kind of like the things.
But the reality is, I mean, using that example, Grandpa was heavily involved with the religious community.
Yeah.
Grandpa was part of the Lions Club. Grandpa was part of the Elks Club. Grandpa had a lot of like social circles. So did they just not recognize that those were social circles?
I think that's it. Yeah.
Like that's the thing that gets me is
and I'll bring up the political and kind of the environment that, this was when communism was the enemy.
Oh yeah.
And so, I mean, love and belonging, when this came out, it was more of a collectivism idea instead of an individualism, where the United States was very individual. You can become the self-made person. You can get yourself out.
It's all up to you.
Yep, exactly.
Not the hundreds of people that have to help you get to that point.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that was interbred into our society for a very long time. And then we kind of got some socialist collectivism ideas, but in all honesty, I think a lot has gone back to be an individual, be yourself.
I was just about to say the exact same thing. Like you see these up and coming social media stars, these TikTok stars that that are espousing like a way of living, what they call like the grind. You know what I'm talking about? Where you work your heart, you get up at 3:00 in the morning, you run 20 miles.
You
and
can
then
retire at 35.
You work incredibly hard, and that is your life. You have to grind through your 20s, get as much money as you possibly can, and grind. And like completely negating the need for any kind of social interaction.
Yeah.
Because it's literally seen as, well, the social side of things, this collectivism, as Josh said, which I love that word, is so evil that I'm not going to do it because the individual is what matters. My individual drive.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting when you actually are dealing with individuals who are going through, addictions, trauma and things like that. Often the best thing you can do for them is to get a support group. And it's not necessarily like you go to AA and things like that, but even having other things such as family, be involved in things. What's her name? Oh crap,
Hillary Clinton.
Sue Johnson.
Oh, sorry.
Is that her name? Hillary Clinton?
Hillary Clinton.
I don't know. I just threw that out there.
Heaven's name, Joshua. Let me see. Sue Johnson.
Who is this Sue Johnson?
She wrote a book called "Hold Me Tight," and she brought up a newer theory about it, and I cannot remember the name of the theory.
Attachment theory.
Thank you, but it's something more than that. EFT. There we go. Emotionally focused therapy. There we go. But one thing she found in all her research is that it's something very similar, where it's like you literally need that attachment to overcome emotional distress.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes attachments like that can cause emotional distress, and that's something you have to work on. But at the same time, you work through that. And so the idea of belongingness and needing that love, this was one of those things where for a lot of people it was kind of like, really? Are you sure? Even though they've been practicing it for a while.
And see, this is what I think is so fascinating, is this love and belonging comes first, and then kind of the individual esteem of oneself. The individual of self-respect, confidence, respect. I said that. Reputation, recognition, and achievement. Kind of the, I am good. I am great at what I do. That comes after feeling love and belonging. So that is interesting that for a long time, until this came out, that third level of love and belonging kind of was just skipped over. And it's probably because they felt it all the time because you had larger families, in yesteryears and things like that.
Well, and you had social obligation.
Yeah.
Like the social obligation to do things. I mean, it's only been in the recent, I would say, history that religion and religious practice has been kind of left up to the person to kind of do themselves. You don't have the social pressure like you used to go to a church or belong to a religious person.
But you also had clubs like you were mentioning, the Elks Club, the whatever, that was just normal for people to like belong to. I mean, there was a fat club at one point, and it would have been awesome to be a part of.
There was.
Yep.
It was in New York. It was awesome.
All right. So, like I said, the fourth one is esteem. It's recognition, competence, and respect. Mainly dealing with oneself, but also having respect from others and having reputation. Any comments on that? Esteem.
No, this is a hard one because I think that we grew up in a way, the best way to describe it is a little Norwegian, where you don't seek out esteem.
And do you know what's funny? I'll go back to my comments earlier. Norway is a socialist country.
It is.
Meaning that it isn't about oneself, it's about the community, helping the community.
Sure.
And so, that was kind of passed on as we went through.
It really was. Like, I remember even, you don't brag of yourself. And so this one has always been hard because how does a person gain reputation and recognition of achievement and get respect from others without kind of flaunting yourself a little bit?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? And I they talk about self-respect and the idea that you don't downplay your own successes. And I kind of had a sudden realization as we were talking that in the context of surpassing love and belonging, belonging to family, community, group membership, that kind of esteem, that kind of self-respect kind of naturally happens. But if you're without the love and belonging, you have to force that esteem. You know what I'm talking about?
I mean, yeah.
Does that make sense?
If you look at 100 years ago and you said you were a Freemason,
yeah,
you had a very high reputation because they were the top, class of people.
In some communities, other communities.
In some communities. So, yeah, I get it.
No, it's just the idea that nowadays, like looking at this hierarchy, it's almost like we're trying to force ourselves to overcome instead of naturally overcome. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm explaining myself very well, but like looking at like safety needs or looking at love and belonging as sections, I almost feel like it was a natural consequence of living in those, and you would overcome those, right?
Yeah.
Outside of like big, health and well-being problems or environmental problems or even personal security problems, you kind of could fall into safety needs and love and belonging, and the esteem would come as a natural consequence of already being part of these kind of psychological trends. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what Maslow was meaning, that these were not necessarily individual things, but they would lead to the next thing. Which brings to the fifth and last one at the beginning, that I personally don't feel like I've attained because I can't understand it. And that's called self-actualization, realizing one's full potential. So this includes creativity, thinking outside the box, personal growth, moral development, pursuit of meaning, purpose-driven action, and peak experience, joy, transcendence, insights. And so it's basically achieving to the point where you can, you know who you are, and you can attain something because you've gone through the process or something or whatever.
Help us, Jake. You know this stuff.
I'm supposed to help with this one?
Self-actualization.
Gosh, dang it. You know things.
You got a degree.
Stop being quiet over there. You demand answers.
Sorry, I'm just excited. I'm going on a loophole looking at stuff. Self-actualization I always found really interesting because it's something that he brought up, is that you become who you were meant to become. But this is where it was one of those things is, do you ever achieve fully what you want to become?
Nope.
And that's where a lot of people, it's like, well, then where does that begin? And I always like to look at it, and for my understanding is you achieve the ability to be able to be in a place where you can always improve upon yourself because you have the other needs met. You can look for opportunities to improve without the other needs interfering with that improvement. So getting at self-actualization is recognizing where you are, how far you've come, and then proceeding forward. So now, historically, this was radical too, because what he was suggesting is that the idea of great mental health was not just the absence of neurosis or neuroses, but rather the presence of actualization.
Oh.
So it was one of those that you upon getting self-actualization is when you achieved great mental health. So now this is where a lot of people argue, because it's one of those things where it's like, now wait a minute. Do you truly need all these other needs met
to attain that?
Because there are plenty of people that might not have all those met that feel like they're in this category.
I would dare say that there's a whole group of people that will religiously say that you don't need it. I mean, that's Buddhism. Buddhism at its very core is that you don't need the other aspects of life to receive transcendence. So
yeah, and there's a lot of people that argue that as well. That it's like, hey, you're not taking spirituality into account. Like you can be on one of the lower levels and still achieve a spirituality that would make you feel like you have achieved self-actualization. So, there are people that argue that and everything. And so there's a whole lot more on it. I mean, the idea of self-actualization was just so broad, but it was his way of trying to define it and define something that, for me, is continuous and hard to define.
So did we skip over cognitive needs and aesthetic needs? Because I swear that was something that I read.
Cognitive needs and what needs?
And aesthetic needs?
I think that is under safety needs.
Is that under safety needs?
I want to say it's been a little bit.
But I will say this. So over the years, he did develop another set of needs that were kind of interjected throughout the whole process. And these are called Maslow's list of meta needs.
Meta needs.
And I'll just read. I have 14 listed. I don't know if that's all of them. But wholeness, which is unity, perfection, balance, and harmony, completion or ending, feeling complete, justice, feeling fair, richness, so complexity, not being, just thing, I don't know, simplicity, getting to the essence of something, liveliness, spontaneity, beauty, rightness of form, goodness, benevolence, uniqueness, which could mean individuality, playfulness, which means being at ease, truth, living in reality, autonomy, self-sufficiency, and meaningfulness, having value. And these 14 things is something that he added a little bit later that could be interjected, that once you hit self-actualization, these are the things that you can also work on above that tier. So it was kind of like a sixth tier, but at the same time, not really.
It was nice that he was actually willing to critique his own work and recognize some things.
Well, what's crazy is that maybe I'm just so simplistic, but there's a lot of those on the list of meta needs that I don't understand what the difference is, like between wholeness and completion, like uniqueness and autonomy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I would have to read into it more to try to figure out exactly what he's talking about.
And
you're talking about psychology, you have to hit every base. Now, on top of this, he actually did, towards the end of his life, critique some of the work, and he actually recognized some things. In the 1970s, they actually published posthumously after his passing that he wanted to include the cognitive needs and aesthetic needs, Danny.
Oh, okay.
I don't think they specified where exactly that would be. But another thing that we actually had talked about, when did we talk about transcendence? We talked about that
in another podcast?
Yeah, like only a few weeks ago we talked about that. And I think I even brought this up.
Good for us.
But this is where there is actually a new level above self-actualization.
Yeah.
And that is the transcendent, which is where he considered that is where you are altruistic. You have hit the spiritual connection that you have desired. And I guess this was bridging both humanistic and transpersonal psychology. Now, I don't know a whole lot about transpersonal psychology, but
being above oneself. I don't know.
I like the aesthetic need. You need to have beauty in your life.
You know what? And I will say this, I'm going on a cruise.
Again.
Another cruise. Because I like feeling pampered. And the whole reason is I feel beautiful on a cruise.
Is it strange to me to think that we've lost some of the cognitive needs and the aesthetic needs and the self-actualization? It feels like it's a lost art form. Like, how many people do you know that just seek education for education's sake? You know, who are actually trying to have their cognitive needs met? You know, are we blunted by today's technology and that's not something that is out there for us anymore? Or even the aesthetic needs, like on a personal level, I could see that being the case. But like, what about on a purely humanist level? Like, Where's the grand architecture that there used to be? Where's the desire to have beauty just for beauty's sake, not to have a reason behind it, but to just have it
for simplicity.
Yeah, it just seems like it's gone.
Transcendence. Yeah, if you look at a lot of the issues that we have nowadays, the one that I'll bring up that I've struggled with, anxiety. I think anxiety as a cultural phenomenon right now is dealing with things that are missing from these hierarchy of needs. Not necessarily like everybody who has anxiety, but there are certain things where being an individual or missing that aesthetic beauty or other things like that could relate.
Feeling like you're unable to rely on someone else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's created issues in our communities and cultures because we're missing out.
Because we're not meeting our needs.
Exactly. We're focused. The culture and community in which we live focuses on something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's just something about learning that's just exciting. And for me, I guess I'm one of those people that I think I still seek it out. And that's a problem because then I end up going and getting another degree for whatever reason.
And Jake, do you know what's funny about that? I mentioned my favorite high school teacher, Mrs. Murray.
Yeah.
Do you know how many degrees she had?
I have no idea.
She had 6. She had 4 bachelor's degrees and 2 master's degrees.
Good for her.
When I was there and she was still in school. And so I think you guys can relate because of this. You have achieved that. I just want to continue. I haven't got there yet.
It's almost like I get bored and I can't stand that I haven't learned anything. And so I have to seek something out. And normally, in a way, I guess it's one of those that I then seek out something that maybe helps me get better at my job or something like that. And so I don't know if you...
Personal growth?
That at the same time, it's one of those that I thought I was done.
Purpose-driven action? You're self-actualizing there, Jacob.
Yeah.
My biggest problem, though, is that it's too easy to blunt that feeling.
Yeah.
Because I'm a big reader. I love learning about stuff, but it's very easy to blunt that with nonsense.
Yeah.
Blunt that with mindless scrolling, or even blunt that with just nothing,
information overload.
Yeah, and I think that has to do with maybe some of my other needs not being met. Maybe I don't have like another need on a lower tier that's being met, and so I don't feel like I can do that. Or like I said, maybe there's external things that are being pushed on me that make it so I can't do that. But even when it comes to the aesthetic or the cognitive needs, what worries me is that we are filling ourselves with false aesthetic, a false cognitive need, and even a false hierarchy in and of itself. We're being tricked into believing that we're having our needs met, but that we're not being met. One of the things that I was reading about when we were kind of studying on this is some of the psychologists nowadays, they talked about the culture of community and how the culture of community over the past several years has significantly changed. One of the things that's happening is people are building relationships with online characters, meaning you watch a YouTube video and you feel like you've built a relationship with this person because you're watching it on a personal level.
And then you comment.
And you feel like, oh, I'm now part of a community. And they're thinking that, oh yeah, the community aspect of the hierarchy is being met, but the reality is on a psychological level, it's actually not. It's doing quite the opposite. It's actually removing you. It's individualizing you. It's making it so your basic needs aren't even being met.
Yeah, and because of that, a lot of those people who just solely rely on those communities, when those communities all of a sudden just vanish, a lot of times their mental well-being is
completely shattered.
Yeah.
I know
we'll
that.
Be here for you until we get bored.
What about? In Japan right now, they have a huge subset of people that are essentially shut in,
homebound.
And completely homebound and believing that they are part of these communities. You talk to them, they say, "Oh no, I belong to such and such community that is a fandom of this or whatever." But they're not actually having any needs met. They're not meeting face to face. They're not getting any kind of empathetic response from other people. And what scares me is that I can see it in my kids.
Yeah.
I can see how easily my kids, they can come home, jump on a video game, And yeah, they're interacting with people on this video game, but are they actually interacting? Is their needs actually being met? I don't know.
Here's a funny question that I came across, but it made me go, huh. In terms of the first needs and things like that, the question was, at what percentage of phone battery does the psychological distress officially begin? 20%, 10%, or the red zone?
Ooh.
And you got to think, like, that's supposed to be a funny question, but how many people, as soon as their phone gets close or dies, are immediately in
Panic
mode?
Panic. And you know what's funny? It's because they feel like they're disconnected from their world.
Yeah.
Like they are disconnected from everything. You know,
It's almost like a drug.
well, and I will be the first to admit
Withdrawals.
that I have felt that sometimes.
Yeah.
Where, like, if my phone dies at the beginning of a day, you know, you have like this under the current panic that is happening until you get to the end of the day and you're like, oh, what have I missed? I've missed so much. You plug in your phone, you realize you've missed literally nothing. Like there is nothing that you have missed. But psychologically, you are exhibiting the signs of being separated from your community without actually having a community.
Dang.
So what does that mean?
So what does that mean?
Listen to our podcast, but turn off everything else.
For crap's sake, have some human connection. Go to somebody and say hello. See what happens.
Well, and it might even go even before that. It
Brush
might
your
be,
teeth first.
like safety needs, health and well-being, stable environment. Are we putting ourselves in a position in the modern day world where we don't ever get past the second level of Maslow's hierarchy?
Yeah.
Like, are we just always stuck there because, purposeful or not, we're being kept in an unstable environment?
And that's where I come in.
Conspiracy.
That's what I was just about to say. Are we being forced to stay in that so that others can reign over us?
Or just, and it doesn't even have to be nefarious. Or is it just as easy as saying it's easier to sell people more stuff
Yeah.
if they're being kept unstable?
Is it easier to get somebody hooked on something that is not addicting or it is addicting?
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to Twaddling Through Conspiracies with Joshua.
I don't even know if you can
It's
necessarily
not-
call
it's
it
not
a conspiracy.
No,
because
it's there.
It's
I mean,
marketing.
It's that way. I mean, we've seen it all through all about. I mean, the idea for tobacco companies, it was oh, you can't advertise the youth, and it's like, we're not advertising the youth.
Sure.
We're advertising the adults, like making them look really cool in movies, so the youth will think that way.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what's funny? You don't see that as much anymore.
No.
Nope.
They found another outlet, and so there's always a different way.
Well, and nowadays it's especially nefarious because I think social media is that way.
Yep.
Social media really is, at least in some of these things, it's keeping us unstable because we're constantly seeing either a very, very formed image of someone, you know, like, oh, the perfect parents, the perfect social media influencer, which in turn is making us very self-aware of our own, like, our own negative aspects of our life. I don't know how else to describe it. Or the opposite. We're seeing so much bad on social media that it's causing us to do this.
We have fear, and then we can't meet our second level.
But it's normal.
Which means that our third level is impacted, which means that by the time we get up to, you know, self-actualization and transcendence, we just have no hope.
So, what do you guys do to help get over that?
You have to realize that you can have some and not the other. You can have an ebb and flow of different things because that's going to happen during life. You are not going to be self-actualizing or transcended your entire life. If you are, give me a call. I want to know how. But it's going to ebb. Ooh, he is a good guy. It ebbs and flows. So sometimes you are going to face fear, but that doesn't mean that you're not loved or that you don't belong. You have to realize that it's just part of life, and yeah.
I think other key, and something that I'm terrible at, but I think the other key is actually realizing what your needs are and not what you want your needs to be. Meaning that
accept yourself.
I need community, I need family, I need this part of myself. What I don't need is the idea of a large community, a political group, a fandom, everything like that. It's actually like realizing that I can be safe in an unsafe world, and so I can meet that kind of need for myself.
Yep. Praise. Anyway,
Josh wants to say something. Really?
No. I was gonna say amen, but I felt that was too religious, so I was gonna sing praise. But what I was actually looking for was preach, brother.
Preach.
I don't know, Jake. Same question to you.
I like the idea that as a society we have this ideal and or perfect dream, goal, image of ourselves that we think we need to accomplish. And often that perfection ends up getting in our way because it's not something that we can actually achieve. Therefore, what happens? We
don't try.
Get down. We don't try. We stumble. We covet. We do all these other things. And then we kind of just miss out on many opportunities. Where if you instead just had the idea of, you know what? Today I'm just going to do a little bit better.
Transcended.
That makes a huge difference. And that literally is what you're looking to achieve. You are wanting to be better. But on top of that, you want to help other people be better. And that is the idea that altruism comes in, the other things where it's like we as a society, imagine what it would be like. And this is perfect coming out. Maybe this is bad, but like imagine if you were able to have everyone just go out and say, you know what? I'm going to be a little better, and I want to help someone be just a little bit better today as well.
No.
And that's where
Just
Josh
kidding. No,
cuts out.
I love that because it actually was a controversy when the paper first came out. And I wanted to mention this just with our last remaining moments before we all go. But Maslow went and lived amongst people called the Siksika Nation. They're a group of natives in the north, I believe in Canada. And the Siksika criticized Maslow because his hierarchy of needs was basically stealing from their beliefs. But they didn't criticize him on his content because it was very accurate, but he neglected that all beings are interconnected, that we work as a society, and that it should be that the hierarchy of needs should be a community-based thing, not just an individual-based. And so I think it just goes right back, like, as we improve ourselves, we can also help improve others.
Sure.
Not by forcing it, but by...
Do you know who I think is like the perfect embodiment of that?
Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers.
100%.
Fred Rogers.
Yeah.
Or even like Bob Ross. You know, if you make a mistake, that's okay.
Yeah.
We're going to work through it together.
And I think that we talked about that he was literally both of them, but Fred Rogers specifically was able to create a community that even though they didn't get to meet him in person, he created a community of safety.
Yeah.
He helped people that didn't feel safe.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's kind of what we need more of.
Well,
Do we need to have an inspirational twaddling message that we just post every day? Mostly Josh looking at you and going, "You're going to be fine."
you got this.
Praises.
Yeah. It's just an idea of that not everybody's an enemy and most everybody is your friend.
And everyone
Altruism is a real thing. I mean, it's...
Everyone has good. Everyone is good naturally. Don't think of them naturally bad. They're all good naturally, and they may just do some bad things.
Yeah.
So everyone, love one another. Dang it. Be good to everyone. I feel good about life. Stay positive.
What's with Christmas coming up? We need to sing the song from Scrooge. I like life.
Life likes me.
Life and I very fully agree.
Scrooge!
Get over here. Or sing, love let us hear. Oh, wait, no, that's Pirates Muppet Treasure Island.
Daddy did that last time.
I did.
Or,
All right.
sorry,
Final words. Let's start with Jake.
I'm a big fan of psychology. I don't know if that showed at all during this podcast, but it was really fun to review some of this because I haven't been able to review some of it for a while. But it got me thinking. There are so many things out there that you can be upset about. There's so many things you can be sad about, and it's easier. Well, not easier, but sometimes it's more worth it to look for the good. Just look for the good, and then every day, just try to be a little better. Because if you do that, you can meet these needs, and you can also achieve great things. And I like the idea, like we talked about the idea of esteem and other things, but being able to hold yourself with dignity, knowing that you are doing the best that you can, and you're trying to improve every day.
Yeah.
And that for me, that's what I want to have the appearance of. I don't want to necessarily come across as prideful and boastful, even though I kind of do that a lot. I want to be able to just have people look at me and be like, he's trying to do his best. So I like this. Humanistic psychology was awesome. I'm going to probably have to talk about Carl Rogers stuff next time because now this has got me excited. So it's just fun to see what can be accomplished as you focus on where you are and where you're going. Not necessarily focusing and staying in the past about your mistakes, but just taking what you have now and moving forward.
Preach.
I think perfectly stated. I think that one thing that this has done to me is it's opened my mind to the humanist argument. The idea that humanity itself can correct its own mistakes, and that it's perfectly acceptable to say we as a society can do better without saying that we are fallen. The idea, I think that Jake said it really, really well, just barely, that, just doing a little bit better every single day. And I want that not just for me, but as for my society, a place where my children can grow up in a world where people can walk out their doors and say, I'm just going to do something just a little better today. I'm going to try to meet one of my needs, and in doing so, I'm going to try to help someone else meet their needs. That's a lovely thought. It's a lovely humanist thought. Very, very much is, we are responsible for our own kind of destiny. That's kind of what the humanism.
We can create a real community.
Yeah. So, and then Josh, end us. But before you do, thank you for joining us at the Twaddling Along podcast. As always, if you have something that you want us to talk about, please let us know. Reach out to us on social media. Reach out to us on our emails. We are starting to get a couple more hits on YouTube, so you can even leave a comment on one of the YouTube videos. Just whatever you do, just be nice, and also like, comment, subscribe. I hate using that, but it really does help in the long run. It allows more people to find us in the long run. And
it helps this good message get spread.
Yeah, we're definitely no Fred Rogers, but...
No, I don't wear a sweater. Oh, wait.
We're starting a Fred Rogers cult.
Frederism. No.
All hell, Fred Rogers.
Yeah. Wodgers.
Wodgers.
No, but my last words on today's podcast come from a dear friend of mine. He really influences me every day, and that is of Tiny Tim. God bless us, one and all.
Oh, bud, you just...
Is that seriously what you were going to end with?
Yeah, but
so high-pitched.
What's the actual pitch? Or
God bless us, everyone.
God bless us, everyone. Just edit that other part out.
Everyone's here.
Remember, we're all trying to improve, and I need to improve on whatever the heck that was.
The outros.
I'm lost. Where am I?
Bye, all.
Tiny Tim.